we don't celebrate Christmas because we're Buddhists. We got Buddhist-y stuff at home, altars and stuff. We pray to our ancestors. We celebrate the lunar calendar. We all have 2 birthdays. But if you were to come into our house on Christmas Day and hit a mute button, it would look a lot like Christmas. I have 3 sisters. 2 of them live in Ontario. One in Montreal, where my parents' house was. So we'd all come together to Brassard, which is like a burb off of Montreal, to my parents' place, and we'd be there for Christmas, like a week or so. My parents had an awesome house. It was not a mansion, but it was really big. It was like really huge, and we all pitched in to fix up the basement, and there was like this middle floor and a top floor. But we had this staircase that went up to the top floor and had this really nice green carpet and kind of curved to the left. And at the base of it, there was this circle space where, as the family came in, they would just kind of dump the presents there. And we'd have this huge pile of presents. A full complement on Christmas would be my mom, my dad, my 3 sisters, 4 boys between all of them, 3 brother-in-laws, my best friend Pierre, who is Cantonese, and 5 or 10 family friends and their kids, and myself. Right? We'd all be hanging around, freaking out in the house. And so I'm 17, and I'm looking at this mountain of gifts. And I'm like, something's missing, man. Like, something's missing, man. Right? I'm like saying this in my head, And then suddenly, all of these, like every Christmassy thing I'd ever absorbed in my life goes crashing through my brain, right? Like The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, Charlie Brown Christmas Special, right? All this, like, all my friends' houses had Christmas trees and stuff. And I'm like, we need a tree, man. And I realize now that I think what I was feeling was I wanted to be what I thought was more Canadian, So, so I go to my mom, right? Because, she's the boss. And I find her on her perch, smoking her Benson and Hedges, right? She's like this big. I'm like, hey, Mom, I think we need a Christmas tree, right? She goes, what? Why? We don't celebrate Christmas. I'm like, yeah, I know, Mom, but, wouldn't that be cool? Like, all the gifts and the kids are here and the Christmas spirit, let's get a tree, right? No. I'm like, okay, Mom, let's get a tree. No. Mom, let's get a tree. She looks at me, slaps me with her eyeballs. No. And so I take it. Ugh. Okay, Mom, buy it for me for my birthday. Because my birthday's in December. And she's like, you really want a plastic tree for your birthday? I'm like, yeah. Right? So she's like, no. I'm like, Mom, okay. Buy it for me for my birthday and for Christmas. So she grins, looks at me. Okay. No presents, no money, no cigarettes. Yeah, because I smoked at the time, right? And I'm like, yeah, no cigarettes. Right? She's like, okay. So it's Christmas Eve, right? She gives me some cash. I go to Sears. It's still open, and I buy a tree in a huge box. Bring it home. So one of them plastic trees, right? I open it, I'm setting it up. It's one of those like color-coded wire branches that you stick into the middle of a green stick with the holes, right? I'm setting it up. Kids are running around. Everyone's freaking out. Kitchen is hopping, right? Like my mom is cooking, this big. The wok's like this big. She's one-handing that thing, right? Just like one-handing it. It is so impressive, right? I'm not even joking, This is exactly what she was doing. She was so powerful. And so I finally get the tree set up, right? It comes with tinsel. So I'm like, wow, awesome. And I bought some lights, right? I'm just about to plug it in. I'm wiring it to the basement and stuff, right? So I'm like, Ma, hey, Ma. What? Ma, come here. I want to show you something. I'm cooking the noodles. I know. It's just the noodles will be fine. Just, I physically go, right? Grab her. Somehow in the middle, she's found a way to light a Benson and Hedges, right? So I'm like, whatever. So, she comes over, right? And she's looking at the tree and stuff. And I'm like, watch this. Plug it in. Boom. Right? Boom. Lights up. It's so beautiful. It really is. It's my first tree ever, right? And I'm like, and it's literally my tree. It's like a present, right? And so, I'm like, Mom, right? And she goes, do what? I'm like, what do you mean, do what? What does it do? I'm like, so we put the presents underneath it. Look, I put all the presents underneath it. This is Christmas, right? And she goes, oh. Like she's being polite to me, right? Like, oh. Walks away, shrugs, and walks away back to the giant walk, right? I'm like, okay, cool, whatever, whatever. I'm so happy about it, right? So then dinner is being made. It's this huge mishmash of stuff, steamed fish, rack of lamb, white rice, stir-fried noodles. Always got to have noodles because they represent long life, okay? Mashed potatoes, Yorkshire puddings. It's just so many different things at the table, right? And it was great, we just ate it all, right? So, and no gravy, come to think of it. That's weird. We did not use a lot of gravy. Okay. Wow, that was a real moment there. Okay, so we use a lot of gravy now in my house. So we finish dinner, and then everybody goes to the living room, right, where my mom sits in this big couch chair, very much like a throne, really. And she sits there like the queen. She is the matriarch of our family, no doubt. Somebody brings an ashtray for her. Somebody brings the Benson and Hedges. She doesn't even have to bring them herself, just boom. It's bang. It just all happens. And she's saying, and then the nephews and all the kids, friends of friends, they all bang into a living room, sitting around her on the arms of the big throne chair, and they're opening gifts, just tearing it apart, ooh, oh, look at this, grandma, and all this, look at this auntie, all this stuff, and they're loving the loot. And my mom is smiling. She's smiling, and the image is so vivid, in my mind, because she didn't smile a lot. She was a person that worried a lot. She worried a lot about money and people and things, and what was happening. And her and I spent a lot of time together, because when my sisters were all older, they're out of the house, it was her and I was serious with her a lot. Me smoking my Dunhills, and we would just sit there in the kitchen, being serious with each other, smoking our cigarettes, I'm like 17, right? And but once in a while, she would say something, or I would say something, and we'd laugh, just the two of us in this huge house, and we'd laugh and laugh, and her laugh would be so free and loud, and I didn't see that often, except every year at Christmas time. She would have this like smile, and she would laugh, and it was so beautiful. And so as the years go by, I tell this story, something with a little chuckle, and remember something here and there, and but this year is like kind of like a year of firsts, for me, because it'll be the first Christmas without my mom, because she passed in August, and I think about this memory, and I feel like it just brings me so much like I'm with my mom, when I think about it, because it was like her and I a lot together, and those moments were really tight, And that tree, like we had that tree for like 10 years, right? It just like went on, and that tree is like somewhere in a basement or a garage right now, I guess, in some house in either like Montreal or Toronto. And, well, I guess maybe I gotta go find that tree this year. Thank you.